Hello everybody, this is Zoe from No Safer Place, and today I am here with a review of one of the best books I have ever read. I actually read this book a few months ago and I absolutely adored it, and because I was in a bit of a mental health slump I didn't record a video for it, but now I'm back and recording often, I need to review this and tell the world about it because it's not out yet. And it is written by a friend of mine and I'm excited to share it with you. Today I'm going to be reviewing Mina and the Undead by Amy McCall, and I thought I would wear my Dracula jumper especially. As I say, I read this book a few weeks ago. It comes out on the 1st of April, so there is still a while before you can get your hands on it, but let me tell you, it is worth the wait. I have written so many notes on this book, so let's get reviewing. So it was pitched as a YA Gothic horror. So if you're a fan of shivers, goosebumps, point horror, but a little bit older, so they were ones that I loved growing up. But then as I got a bit older, I thirsted for something more. Excuse the pun. There's a great YA horror series called the Red Eye series, published by Stripes. I've reviewed their books so many times, and yeah, that's an amazing series. But that kind of seemed to be the only proper YA horror out there. So when I heard that Amy was writing this book, I was so excited, and it didn't disappoint. So Mina and the Undead is set in the 90s, which, if you're looking for nostalgia, has all of the nostalgia you could ever want. I think it was even more nostalgic for me because I was born in the 90s, I grew up in the 90s, so everything was more familiar for me than maybe someone that was born in the noughties. So yeah, I loved that aspect of it. Also, if you're a horror fan, not just YA horror but horror in general, there are so many references dotted throughout this book. Some of them are much more obvious and some of them are far more subtle. I loved looking out for them. Just so many Easter eggs hidden throughout the book of some references to my favourite horror TV series and my favourite horror films. It was just amazing. Anyway, let's talk about the plot. As I said, it's set in the 90s and focuses on 17-year-old Mina. It is set in the fabulous location of New Orleans, which is a place that I have always wanted to go to, mainly because of Princess and the Frog, my vast knowledge of New Orleans. But yeah, my godmom actually went there, not last year, the year before, and it just sounded amazing, so I have wanted to go. And this book just made me want to go there more. As I say, it follows the story of a 17-year-old Mina who has travelled to New Orleans to spend the summer with her sister, who she has, what shall we say, a very turbulent relationship with. Mina grew up in Whitby, which I thought was an absolute classic reference to my favourite classic, Dracula. I mean, Mina's name itself is a tribute to our very own Mina Harker. So Mina's sister Libby works at this mansion. It basically is a haunted house, and Libby insists that she can get Mina a job there and they can work there together. It's full of horror and gore, and honestly I feel like I wish that I could visit there myself because it sounds epic. But then a body shows up, a real one, and the killer is looking likely to be someone we're very, very familiar with. This killer starts going on a spree and recreating some really famous murder scenes, and things start to get dark. And the story is basically them uncovering what has happened, why these people are being killed in such horrific ways, as well as the main kind of murder mystery plot. There's a low-key romance developing between Mina and our very own Jared. Jared is Libby's housemate, her work colleague, turns out to be Mina's love interest. He is just swoon-worthy. Now, I don't want to spoil it too much because I don't want to let you know his secrets, but he is just so damn alluring. I loved everything about him. Even though the story was very much focused on Mina and finding out who was doing these murders, I was so invested in what was going on with Jared and Mina. Their chemistry is just amazing, and I feel like I almost cared just as much about those two as the main plot that was going on, which, you know, is amazing because I'm not a very lovey-dovey kind of person, but I was so invested. There's a lot of New Orleans history interwoven into this story. And as you're reading, you begin to wonder if some of the stories you've been told that have been passed off as myths and legends have more than just a little bit of truth to them. I don't want to say more than that, but yeah, everything is not as it seems. This book kind of went in a completely different way than I thought it was going to, and it's just full of so many twists and turns, way more than any point horror book, let me tell you. I have always been a sucker, excuse the pun, for vampires and anything kind of supernaturally in that way. So I just lapped this book up. I just completely devoured it. I think I finished it in 3 hours, maybe 4, because I just couldn't put it down. Like, you think you have everything figured out, you think you know who the killer is and exactly what is happening, and then something else is thrown into the mix. More secrets are uncovered and you find yourself literally second guessing everyone and everything. There is no trust for anyone, not even the main character. You're just like, no, you trust no one. One thing that I loved is it didn't hold back on the gore and the graphicness of, let's say, the deaths that happened. I know that YA tends to veer away from that because it puts some people off, but for me, that is what draws me in more. So if you're looking for gore and graphicness, I would highly recommend this book. I think one of the main things for me that made this book feel authentic is you can tell that Amy, the author, has been to New Orleans herself, because the detailing and the descriptions of the city itself are just exquisite. Like, there's not a single detail left unturned. It's just stunning. And I need a sequel. I need more Jared in my life. Like, when's the sequel coming out, Amy? The first one hasn't officially come out yet, but I'm already needing a sequel. Now, I loved this book so much that when I read it, I wanted it to be in Wildest Dreams book box because I was so excited to do a 90s themed book box, but obviously things changed and I had to shut the book box down. I felt like I had to do something to show how much that I loved this book. So I made a bracelet. Amy doesn't know this, but I'm going to send her it because I really hope she likes it. I absolutely loved it. I had so much inspiration after reading this book. And there it is. It says, "Your horror movie tour will begin momentarily." It says Mina and the Undead, and it has some vampire fangs. Yeah, I just absolutely loved this book that I couldn't not make a bracelet inspired around it. It was amazing. As I said at the beginning of the video, it is pitched as a YA Gothic horror. I would personally say it's more of a YA Gothic thriller. Kind of like Dracula, because people say that's Gothic horror, and I guess it is, but it's not scary like horror is. It's kind of more thrilling and exhilarating and really makes you think and leaves you second guessing. So to me, that's why it feels like more of a thriller. A supernatural one, obviously. But it just has dark secrets and vampires in the bucketfuls. And I don't want to spoil too much, but you will be left wanting so much more at the end of this book because it's just amazing. I loved all the characters. I loved that none of them were perfect, and that is why you end up suspecting so many different people, because although you like the characters, you're not 100% sure if you should trust them, which to me made the book so much more interesting. But yeah, I know I've said it a million times, but Jared is definitely the best character in this book, for me anyway. Yeah, I would highly recommend Mina and the Undead. It is just amazing. As I say, it comes out April the 1st. You can pre-order it pretty much everywhere now. If you go on Amy's website, you can pre-order a finished copy, which is signed and dedicated, which of course I have done. I will leave that link in the description box below if you want to go and pick up a copy yourself. But yeah, even just flicking through this book now, I want to read it again because it is brilliant. Are there any YA horrors you've been enjoying recently? I would love to know because they are my favourite to read. So let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you'll be picking this up because it is definitely worth the read. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that usual good stuff. Also, you can turn the notification bell on to be notified when I upload new videos, which is usually every Tuesday and every Saturday. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you would like to see more of on my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you!